Welcome back. It's to Watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Now to our interview with the guest of the day. I'm joined by the Candidates of Action Alliance for the 2023 Kogi State Governorship election, Olayinka Braimoh, for discussion on the November 11 poll in the North Central State. Braimoh is an entrepreneur, investor, philanthropist, and founding CEO of Edo State Limited. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, sir.
Thank you for having me tonight.
All right, so let's start this way. As an entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist, what prompted you to join politics?
Well, a burden on me concerning the suffering of our people in Kogi State. And it behooves me at this point, having seen the level of poverty in our state and the fact that our people are suffering despite having numerous resources. Our people suffering in poverty in the midst of plenty. It will interest you to know that the landmass of Kogi State is about 29,833 square kilometers, which is the 13th largest in Nigeria. And the landmass, for graphic understanding, it's bigger than the entire southeast of Nigeria. That is putting the 5 states in the southeast together. Yet with this huge land asset, our people are poor. Kogi State is regarded as one of the poorest states in Nigeria today in terms of reality. And these are the reasons, primarily, for joining politics, to be able to create wealth for our people. Wealth creation and wealth distribution.
All right. But some analysts will say you're not the regular politician and that it will take a great effort for you to succeed. How do you intend to brace the odds?
Well, not being the regular politician, I say thank you to Beavers and the reality that we face today, being able to face the situation in terms of facing the electorate. I think by virtue of the result of the last election, it's pretty clear that all you need to do is to be able to speak to the electorate. And our results are counting. I mean, votes are counting in Nigeria today. So I don't have any fear or any doubt, because our people are poor and we need to give them the right message, the message of hope. Our people's mind have been so decimated due to poverty. And an average home in Kogi State today, they've actually turned to beggars, practically. So I'm not afraid, I'm not scared of anything. I'm pretty confident that the people need to be free, and giving them the message of freedom, the message of hope. I'm convinced that our people will do the right thing come November 11. That is to vote for wealth creation, to vote poverty out of our state, getting poverty out of our state, which is my primary objective, my primary vision, my singular vision, wealth creation and wealth distribution.
All right, so you're in the race for the November 11 governorship election, and some people say young people like you should start their political career from lower elective positions. How will you react to that?
Well, I really don't think it's about the age or where you should start from your political career. I'm 46 years old, and when you say young people like me, yeah, I know I may pass for a 33 years old or a 36, but in reality, I think it's about the capacity, the mental capacity and ability to be able to bring transformation to the state. That is what is important. I really don't think it's a function of where you start from. And concerning the matter at hand right now, which is Kogi State, for us to be able to overcome poverty, you need executive power, not so much as you need the legislative power. You must be able to understand what exactly is needed to be done and the approach to use. Being a House of Rep member or a senator, you can't really effect any significant change in terms of policies concerning your state. So the reality is, in our states today, people are poor. How will a senator bring about the transformation of the state? You know, visionary leadership is what is needed. When you need visionary leadership, you need to be the governor with a vision to be able to bring about wealth creation for people. Just being a House of Reps member or being a senator, I mean, you don't have that power to be able to effect that change in the state, back in the state. So that's why, for me, going to the House of Reps or going to the Senate, it's not the answer to the problems of Kogi State.
All right. Now that you're in the governorship race and you have emphasized that your candidacy is born out of a genuine need to rescue the people of Kogi State from poverty, how do you intend to do this?
Okay, this is not a rescue. This is more of creating wealth. And I'm going to tell you how. Yes, the reason why we're poor, why there's poverty in Kogi State is because we don't have enough money in circulation. I'll give you an example. The budget of Kogi State for this year is 172 billion naira budget for about 4.4 million people. 58% of our budget is recurrent expenditure. 42% capital projects. Out of this capital project, 42%, 7.5% of this money will go back to the federal government as VAT. Now, merely looking at the budget and analyzing the budget, IGR for Kogi State last year was 18 billion. Projections for this year is 24 billion. When you put all of this together and you look at the budget, from the budget of 172 billion, I would like to say something. Even if you have a governor that will not take 1 naira from that money, consider the wage bill and all of that, you will not be able to create wealth. 172 billion naira cannot create wealth for our people. So when you look at our landmass and the reality that the demand for infrastructure is huge, because when you have 29,833 square kilometers and you have to provide infrastructure across board, it means you need more money to create infrastructure. And the dependency on federal allocation alone has proven that federal allocation alone cannot create wealth for our people. From late Prince Abubakar Audu of blessed memory to Governor Idris to Governor Wada to the current governor, Governor Yahya Bello, when you look at that trend, our people have been complaining from one government to the other. We keep complaining about the fact that, Governor Audu, wasn't doing well. Then we move to Governor Wada. Then we say, Governor Audu did better than Governor Wada, and then Governor Idris, sorry. And then Governor Wada did better than Governor Idris, in that order. And we realize, and the question is, are we moving forward? Absolutely no. We are not making progress because successive administration in Kogi State have been depending on federal allocation. And we said this cannot create wealth for our people. How do we create wealth? Because our people are poor, we don't have enough money in circulation. What are we going to do? We are going to drive in cash flow into our economy. We are going to drive in cash flow from 4 sources. Because for you to drive in cash, you must exchange a product or service for money to come in. And products that we have, solid minerals, which is the first one. I call it the STAT. Solid minerals is the first one. We don't own it. It belongs to the federal government. But I understand that process of prospecting, licensing, exploration, and exploitation of solid minerals. Federal government has not stopped any interested party, investors, to invest in the solid mineral sector. That is one. For us to be able to mine in our state, take our product, and bring in cash. The second one, which is tourism. For tourism, we have about 100 tourist location destinations in Kogi State. The Confluence, Agbaja Plateau, Mount Patti, Usikoko Cave, Obangogo, Omedam, Oraha, and several others. And the Eton Bridge in Olamaboro and the rest. All of these tourist locations are not yielding us any money as we speak. But we have a goal of achieving 2 million visitors into Kogi State in the next 3 to 4 years. And 2 million visitors into Kogi State will mean, if each of them will spend 100,000 naira while in Kogi State, it will mean a cash inflow into our economy of about 200 billion naira. If they spend an average of 5 nights in Kogi State, implication will be about 10 million nights of hotels and short-let apartment sales in the state. At an average of 100,000 naira per night, that will mean about 1 trillion naira cash inflow into our economy in Kogi State. Now, think about it. Hotel sales tax is about 20%. 20% of 1 trillion will be about 200 billion naira in IGR in 3 to 4 years from hotels, just sales, not to talk about the value chain. So when we look at all of this, it means we can drive in cash inflow into our economy from tourism. Now, to be able to cater for about 10 million nights of hotels and short-let apartments, we will need to develop about 375,000 square meters of hotels and short-let apartments. At about 400,000 naira per square meter, we should be looking at about investment of about 1.5 trillion naira in that industry. It means we are going to be able to drive in a lot of cash flow. A lot of jobs will be created in the process, both in the development and the operation of tourism, because tourism is commercial organization and operations of holidays and visits to places of interest. We have several places of interest in Kogi State. Now that's on tourism. Then we move to agriculture, to driving cash flow into our economy. Regenerative agriculture alone will be able to take, with 1 hectare of land, you will take a household out of poverty forever in 24 to 36 months. And 6 members of the household will be employed on that 1 hectare. What we intend to do as a way of creating wealth for our people is to allocate 1 hectare each to 100,000 farmers that we're going to train on regenerative agriculture. Training 100,000 farmers means that you're creating jobs for about 600,000 people already through regenerative agriculture, where you don't need any chemical, you don't need fertilizer. All we're going to be doing is to bridge a knowledge gap in terms of agriculture. And then for those on commercial scale, that we can give about 1,000 hectares with C of O, because we have to carry out effective land administration. When you give C of O, what you're doing is you are creating instrument for funding. So, end to end, we are closing transactions in terms of agriculture, because I give you land, I give you C of O, I've given you instrument for funding, and then the market channels through trade and investment. So we create the market channels, and then we close it end to end. That way you'll be able to get funding for agricultural development. I mean, one of the challenges in terms of land administration is, in every state, you lobby, you beg, you spend money for you to be able to get C of O. And I don't understand why. When you give people C of O, it means you are giving them instrument for them to be able to drive in cash flow into your economy. Then the last one, which is trade. On trade, being the gateway between the north and the south, Kogi State is strategically positioned in a way that those from the north, they pass through Kogi State to go to the south. They go to Aba, they go to Onitsha, they go to Lagos. And those from the south pass through Kogi State to go to the north. They go to Zamfara to buy soya beans. They go to Kano markets. They go to Sokoto markets. And all of them pass through our state. Yet our people, our Kogi State, stand in there like Statue of Liberty, and we're not taking advantage of this movement of traffic of cash across our borders. What we intend to do is to turn Kogi State to a trade hub, a trade center, where we bring the Aba, bring the Onitsha, and bring the Lagos markets, and the Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kano markets into Kogi State. So because the trader can travel 100 miles because of 100 naira, so we cut short their trip and turn our state to a trade hub. That is driving in cash flow into our economy. When you drive in this cash flow, how do you retain? How do you create wealth? You must strategically retain this money. Now, due to globalization and wants for choices, one of the things we intend to do is to ensure that we are able to retain significant amount of the money that will drive into our economy. For instance, on food consumption. If we focus only on food sufficiency in Kogi State, at an average of 500 naira per person per day, It means every day we spend about 2.2 billion naira daily and about 66 billion naira every month on food alone in Kogi State. And if you target 20% of the market share of the 10 states that we are bordered by, because the 10 states that we are bordered by plus our population, we have a combined population of about 56 million people. Now, when you have about 56 million people that you have direct access to through about 1,072 federal roads that connect these states, 20% of the market share plus our population in Kogi State, we mean about 15 million, feeding about 15 million people. Now, through our regenerative agriculture and commercial agriculture investment, we will be able to focus on feeding 15 million people on a daily basis at an average of 500 naira per person. Implication is that's about 7.5 billion naira on a daily basis and about 750 billion naira every 100 days in terms of money made, money saved. Because when wealth creation is your primary goal, it means your set objectives will be make money, save money, and grow the economy. That is this level of activities of government. And because all of this investment will require a lot of joint venture strategic partnerships, we would intend to take professionals in the civil service, bring them out, and then attach them to some of these joint venture projects. Those joint venture projects will take care of their benefits, their salaries, and all of that. In doing that, we would have been able to reduce the overhead of government to help us, and the money that we'll save from there, we'll start using that to take care of arrears of salaries, pensions that are being owed currently in Kogi State. And moving forward is, in terms of tourism again, you realize that we have a spring water in Obangogo, in Kaba. Now, this spring water alone, if we develop that, even if each tourist will only take 1 bottle per day, and they spend an average of 5 days in Kogi State, times 2 million, it means we would have been able to sell 10 million bottles of Obangogo Springs water in Kogi State annually. That will create jobs for our people. Instead of having a state whereby you have the spring water, you are not developing it, you are not making any use of anything out of it, we'll be able to create jobs for our people because the market is there. How do you develop an economy? You create market supply, you create supply in the economy. After creating the supply, then you provide the services. When people have money, you provide the services for them. It means you keep the money circulating in the economy.
All right, Mr. Braimoh, I mean, you have a great vision for your people, but let's talk about your chances. In April, you emerged as the flag bearer of the Action Alliance for the November 11 governorship election. But how will you rate the chances of your party in the poll against parties like APC and PDP?
Well, the other parties that you mentioned, I've not seen their candidates coming out to tell the people what they have to offer. We are out here telling people our vision, our clear vision of wealth creation, and our chances are very bright. And why I would say my chances are very bright is because of the fact that our people are tired. Our people are smart people. Our people are intelligent people. They are well educated. They are informed. And they will make the right decision. Because all the candidates of all those other parties you're talking about, they are not coming out to tell the people what they have to offer. I don't know why they are hiding. I don't know why they are not coming out to tell the people. We've been going around having town hall meetings, engaging our people. I wouldn't know what they depend on or what, how they intend to win the election when they're not talking to the people. So we don't have any fear or any doubt whatsoever that we're going to win this election come November 11, 2023.
All right. Now, you once said the people of Kogi State should look beyond the bigger political parties and consider candidates with the required capacity. How well have you been able to convince them to dump the bigger parties?
I didn't get part of it.
My question. So just like you rightly said, you once said the people of Kogi State should look beyond the bigger political parties and consider candidates with the required capacity. So I'm asking, how well have you been able to convince them to dump the bigger parties?
All right, because they've been with these parties, some of them have been with these parties for 20 years, for 16 years, for 8 years, and their lives have not gotten better. I mean, it's a function of what have you been able to benefit? What have these parties brought to the table for you? I mean, we've been moving, I mean, the level of poverty has been increasing in the state. People have been suffering in the state. So it's not really any difficult work to do. Persuasion, it's not a difficult work to do, because what we're selling to the people is the benefit of the candidature, of the kind of candidate that you have, as against the party. Because what we simply ask our people, between the success of the state and the success of your political party, which one is more paramount to you? People have stayed with the political party for 20 years and they left. They've stayed with political parties for 10 years and they've left. So because people are beginning to see that the success of the state is more important than the success of their individual political party. Because when they are sick, the political party doesn't provide you health insurance. When you're broke, you don't have money, the political party is not the one creating wealth for you. You need a visionary leader that has the capacity to be able to create wealth. So it's not a difficult task at all, because we are offering people opportunity to break out of poverty, to come out of poverty. So it's not a hard task. And a lot of them are moving over across the state on a daily basis. What we're having, what we're experiencing is day by day, men are moving into our camp every day.
All right, I hear that, but have you considered the candidates of these political parties, this time the PDP and the APC are grassroots politicians, and it looks like you may have more work to do?
I'm aware of this, that we'll have to do a lot of work, and we've been doing that work. We've been going from community to community. We've been having town hall sessions. I know that from beginning, that we need to work 5 times more or 10 times more than the work that they have to do. So when we talk about grassroots politics, or structures, these structures are human beings. They are not ghosts. And when someone moves from one party to the other, it means the structure is moving. So when we talk about grassroots politics, it's about communication with the people. And it's about running your campaign through structures that are dependable. You have one of those parties, people are leaving those parties in the state. And, on a daily basis, people are leaving the party in droves. And the other parties, a lot of people are aggrieved. So, there's really nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. Because our people are tired of being poor. When you see a household, a man that is married with children, begging for 5,000, begging for 2,000, and this happens on a daily basis. That is the reality currently in Kogi State. And these are all the things that breeds insecurity and violence. Poverty. Because you see our start agenda is clearly a security agenda. Because there's a nexus between prosperity and security.
All right.
Studies on this. Yeah.
Agitation that power should shift from Kogi Central to other zones. What's your view on this?
Well, in terms of power shift, there's been a lot of agitation in the state concerning power shifts. Everybody's coming up, the Igala agenda, the Central agenda, 1616 agenda, then we have the Kogi West agenda. My view is very simple. Kogi East, they've had the power for about 19 years. Kogi Central will be 8 years in January. Kogi West is 0 in terms of being able to lead the state, democratically elected governor of the state. So, and today, there's the Igala agenda, that power should stay in Igala because they have the population. And the central says, Igala, they should have it for 16 years, before it will go to Kogi West. And my view is very simple. We have a bigger problem in our hands. The bigger problem we have is poverty. And our people are there every day talking about power should shift here, power should shift there. The people are poor. Our people are poor. And we're not talking about wealth creation, we are talking about where power should go to. The people in Igala, if it's going by the number of years they've had the governorship, the people there shouldn't be poor today. But they have a lot of people that are poor there. The same thing in Central. There are poor people everywhere in the state. So it's not a function of where the governor comes from. I think it's a function of the capacity, the capability. Who can bring about wealth creation for our people, take the Kogi State out of poverty, make the most of our resources, what we have, to be able to convert it to wealth, converting our land assets to wealth. That's what's important to me. I represent only one power shift. That is from poverty to prosperity. That is the power shift I represent, and that is my view.
All right then. So some of your people are galvanizing support for the APC governorship candidate over sitting of a university in Kaba. How will you react to this?
Well, I'm from Kawabunu local government, so we say thank you to the governor for giving us a university. I mean, it's part of the responsibility of the governor to do what is right, to develop the state. And if in his wisdom he has said, okay, we should found a university in Kaba, I think we accepted the university and we thank him for it, even though he has just about 7 or 8 months left to go, But when we come in January, we will ensure that the university is developed. It's for the people of the state. So it's part of the responsibility of the government. So if the government has done that for us, we'll have to appreciate and thank His Excellency Governor Yaya Bello for giving us the university. It's needed, and so we appreciate him for it. But that will not change the situation. Even though some look at it, oh, it's a Greek gift. However, whether it's a Greek gift or whatever, is a gift. So since you've given us, we appreciate it, and that will not stop our people from doing the right thing. It will not stop our people from making the right choice when it comes to the election of November 11, 2023.
All right. Mr. Braimoh, let's go on a break. I've been speaking with